As a UX designer, the point in the design process where your design gets converted into code is where there's maximum loss in translation. So I started looking for tools that would actually make this part easier. But it led me down an entirely different rabbit hole, and it made me question whether the role of the designer or the developer would actually exist in the future. And I'm so glad I learned that it won't. Started looking at V0 by Vercel and started experimenting with the tools over there. So the task was very much like describing what it is that I wanted, and it was quite tedious, but I did end up with a pre-built set of files that would actually be easy for a developer to translate and make work. But then I ran into Windsurf and GitHub Copilot, and my experiments with it has made me question what the role of the designer is and what the role of a developer is. Going forward, I don't think these are going to be distinct roles at all. And our role as designers is going to change completely. So let me begin by showing you what it is that we're dealing with Windsurf and GitHub Copilot. I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to begin with this project over here. It's a blank project. It's called Test. And Windsurf is excellent at taking a bit of instruction and planning out the entire set of tasks and then executing on those tasks. So for example, let me say over here, I don't think that is. So this is just a quick description of what it is that I'm looking for. And I can just explain it in English, as you can see. So I can be as specific or as broad, but while using Windsurf, I take advantage of the fact that I can be broad about it. So I'll just mention this, and you can see it'll actually break down this whole request of mine into a plan, and it'll say that I'm going to work on it with an HTML file and create CSS and JavaScript for you. And I'll use modern design practices. You want you to notice that I didn't speak about responsiveness or which frameworks I want to use or anything like that, right? And you'll see that it'll actually fill in those gaps that are in my instruction and actually give me a full-fledged web page, as you can see over here. It's still functioning. It's going ahead and creating the CSS file to add the styling to this page. It's even going to work out the interactions with JavaScript on the page. So here's what the output is, and as you can see, I can just view this page. It's got all the usual sections, product, pricing, testimonials, contact, exactly the stuff that I asked for. It even gave me a hero and named the project as well, and it's got all these placeholders and even styled this pricing plan over here with dollar pricing and all that, and the usual stuff. This is how quick this was, right? I probably edited the video just to speed things along, but literally this whole thing took about 3 minutes, and this is the output that came out of it. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that I didn't specify anything about responsiveness, but as you can see, it's handling that as well, easily laying out everything in the single column for mobile. So right off the bat, it's good to go. If I wanted to make any changes, the usual stuff, I just go in there and I say I want this, I want to make black and white theme, obviously. So please make it so. So I've just instructed it, and it'll go ahead and make the modifications based on what I've just asked for. So it figured out which is the primary color, which is the secondary color, and made those edits. And if I just view it now, you can see the change has been made. There's a clear gradient, and even the gradient has been aligned in such a way that it works with black and white. Now imagine having to specify the amount of detail in using design tools, the amount of work that would have gone into making exactly this happen, right? It's incredibly hard. So with this as the background, I want to talk to you about what it is that I have learned about our roles as designers. As you can imagine, this just completely floored me. I was like, wow, this is just insane that we're able to actually do this and pull off something that would have clearly taken me at least a day to do manually otherwise. So I started thinking more about this and thinking about the impact that tools like this are going to have in the design field and in societies as a whole. And my mind just, went in so many different directions, and very interesting outcomes are possible because of this. And I wanted to spend 5 minutes, just talking about this stuff. So if you can imagine that code can be written this quickly and things are just going to get better and better from here, you're going to get to a place where if I want something done, specialized code could actually be written in order to make that happen. Even in my current example, I actually use this application Windsurf to create something that I needed to do myself. I have a lot of difficulty taking Twitter posts and actually replicating that on LinkedIn and Lens and so many other channels that I'm actually a part of. And that purpose, that mundane thing, was something that I took up as an example for myself to work out with these tools. And I was actually able to build a specialized application that only served me. It's not in any form that I can actually sell it or give it to somebody else or anything like that. It specially works only on my system. But that's actually what the power of these tools are, that I can have these kind of applications built to serve me at the time I need it. And if you can imagine, things are only going to get better from here. We're going to be able to utilize tools like this or AI agents like this in order to make anything I need happen at that very time. It is incredible power now. But at the same time, what is the need for all the software applications that we actually have within our computers today? Everything can be written at the time it is actually required. And so you can imagine a future where you would just have these OSs that would actually, just talk to the human, and whatever the human wants done, it creates a bunch of these applications that need to be made in order to achieve that goal. So software applications are doomed. Software applications are a thing of the past. Second, regarding our skills, I think these AI tools are just have started at the lowest level where the most specialized skills exist. If I can extend what is happening here, they will just continue going up the pyramid, becoming better at planning, becoming better at orchestration, and so on. So the role of the human actually goes up the chain to this point where they simply become the initiators of these objectives. They just, whatever they dream and imagine and can fund, they can actually make happen. So you can suddenly see that the kinds of companies that are currently built are the ones where all these specialized skills exist, and thousands of people are employed to do these specialized functions. They're all going to go away, and the companies of the future are going to be run by 1 or 2 people. I'll put up the tweet which discusses this, but it's indicating something really drastic that has shifted within the world as it is today. Single person companies are able to compete on the same playing field as these multi-million dollar companies have, with thousands of people in it. So that just completely changes the economies within all our countries, right? When such amount of productivity is going to be unlocked by individuals, then the role of the human continues to just go up the chain, and they're just going to be these people who can imagine and dream and raise capital to achieve. And that's going to be the function of the human being going forward, right? It's not going to be about figuring out how to do something anymore, because the how is going to be covered by AI. It's just going to be the what and the why that we're going to have to worry about as people. A long time ago, I had written this article about why generalists are what is required in this world. And I think that's a natural state of the human being. I don't think any human was ever meant to be single dimensional and meant to do only one particular thing all day long. I think every human being is a three-dimensional person with multiple interests and desires. And with AI being able to handle all the basics and the mundane, we are finally going to be able to reassert ourselves as the humans that we were, instead of pretending to be these automatons that we have forced to be until now just to pay the bills. This has deep impact within society across the board, but scaling it down just to the micro instead of talking about the macro, tools like this, tools like Photoshop and things like that are going to change as well. Photoshop was meant to be used by the specialist, who had the skill to do it, alter and manipulate photos. But now things like Krea.ai are allowing people to not only generate the images but also make the edits within these images that have been generated, and it feels flawless. These tools are not catering to that specialist anymore. These tools are going to be catering to somebody at the application layer. Somebody involved with marketing can come in and just generate these images or visuals that they need to utilize on a billboard or whatever it is, and specify the purpose, and it gets done. And they can make all the alterations that they would need to make by just speaking to the application. So there's going to be an entirely different set of users that are actually going to be using so-called design tools going forward. But what is also fascinating is that the economies of scale has suddenly changed. It no longer costs this gigantic amount of money in order to build the software and have it serve the needs of users. So what we used to do earlier is to worry about how many people actually have this need. That was our baseline calculation in order to assess whether we should do something or not. And then even when we had like an objective, we had to worry about what the 80% of that group would actually need and build only the features that serve those needs. But with tools like this, which are tremendously reducing the cost of feature development, you can imagine that there can be features that are developed in order to serve just the needs of one. You can even imagine interfaces that are developed that are designed to serve needs of just one, because that can happen now. This is a huge windfall for those with disabilities. They were the most underserved when it comes to the software world, and that is going to change drastically going forward. And I think that's a huge benefit, and that's a massive shift in the world going forward. Not only that, people like my dad or my mother who have different reasons for being behind the digital chasm, as it were, are going to be able to actually go past that, because interfaces that serve just them in the way they need it is going to be possible to do. So we don't have to rely on only English interfaces or only interfaces that are developed for people with good vision or anything like that anymore. So we can actually serve the needs of many, many more people and help them across the digital divide. But the biggest impact that I really, really look forward to when I see these kind of tools is the fact that humans are going to be able to be humans again. We are going to be able to pursue all our interests and our dreams without ever having to trade time doing mundane, mindless things in order to just pay the bills. A lot of the baseline work is going to be handled by stuff like this, and individuals are going to be able to generate so much more money with the use of AI like this, and be able to live a better life because of that. Anyway, this was really fascinating for me, and I've just been thinking about this. The minute I ran into this tool and used it and was able to build that application which I spoke about earlier, my mind was blown, and I really had to put down my thoughts and share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value in it, and more than anything else, I'd love to hear your comments about what you think about this. So until next time, ciao.